Welcome to the College Football Bros. I'm Michael Newman.
And I'm Ryan Newman.
All right, today we are previewing the biggest game of the weekend and one of the biggest games of the year, Texas at Alabama. If you want to see our previews for the rest of the games this upcoming weekend, be sure to subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/collegefootballbros. I'll put a link to that in the description below. But let's get to this Texas-Bama game. Ryan, what are you most excited to watch for in this one?
Well, just kind of remembering last year's game gets me even more excited for this, and kind of adds a little extra fire to maybe the game actually for the players. Like, it was just such a close game. Alabama was able to pull it out at the end, but I don't know. In particular, I mean, just kind of based what I saw last week from Texas, the offensive line, I'm looking towards that. Just seeing, can they hold up against Bama's front? Last year in this game, they didn't do that well. There was, Texas gave up 3 sacks, seven tackles for loss, and they only rushed for 79 yards. And Bijan Robinson, who's not there now, but he was a stud, he rushed for just 57 yards in that game on 21 carries. So it wasn't like it was a lack of carries that it contributed to that. So, if Texas can't create, at least do a little bit better than they did last year on the ground, going to be awfully tough for them to pull out a win. It's not impossible because they almost did it last year, but that's just going to be really, really tough. So to me, it comes down to that. Can they just create a little bit of running room for the running backs and just take some of the pressure off Ewers?
Yeah, I think that's a good one to point out. And in that Rice game, I mean, you feel good about the tackles, but the interior offensive line wasn't the greatest. So that's something to look out for.
Rice held him to 4.1 yards per carry. So that's a bit alarming. You should be up in the high 7s against a team like that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to just the obvious one, Quinn Ewers.
Yeah,
he's supposed to have made a jump this year, and against Rice, I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, I would say he didn't pass that first test. It's not like a bad game, but didn't hit on any of the deep balls, and so I think in this game he's gonna need to do that because, I mean, the skill talent is awesome. The receiving core he has, led by Xavier Worthy, Jordan Whittington. He's got Jatavian Sanders at tight end. Like I said, he's got great pair of tackles, interior O-line. We'll see. But really, though, it's like if Quinn Ewers is legit, this offense is legit. And this is kind of feels like the big test. So
yeah,
we'll see how they fare.
If he doesn't pass this one, it's like, well, people are going to start to turn the page already on Ewers, It's like, okay, yeah, when's Manning coming?
yeah.
I mean,
that
it
might
could
be
happen.
Third string right now. So
fair enough. True.
Okay, so who do you like ATS in this game? Well, actually, you know what? Trey couldn't be here. He wanted us to mention who he likes. So he said he is taking the points with Texas plus 7.5, and he's picking them to win money line as well. So.
Oh, wow.
He is confident. You'll get his full thoughts in the Patreon.
So he's just banking on the fact that maybe Texas was just holding everything back against Rice and just playing conservative and wasn't ready for it because they didn't look all that great. But
I mean, that sounds logical, and knowing Trey, it's probably something irrational and just dumb. But maybe that's what he was thinking.
No, you're probably right. You got it. For me, though, I noticed he took the 7.5 points.
I mean, realistically, you can find 7s if you want to lay the points with Bama. You can find 7.5 with Texas, and just kind of the juice varies.
All right, so who are you going with then, Mike?
Well, I'm with Trey. I'm taking Texas. Just like, oh wow, lights out on me.
Yep, terrible pick.
Okay, I'm back. All right, so
made it.
Yes, I'm taking Texas. And just because I don't know, I'm expecting with Jalen Milroe, of course, Alabama's gonna lean more on the run game, and I know he had great passing day against Middle Tennessee, but I'm gonna need to see it to believe it that there's been that massive of improvement for Milroe from last year to this year through the air. So, I think they're gonna run the ball a lot, and I think Texas has the talent and the depth on the defensive line to kind of hold their own at least against Alabama's offensive line, and. I mean, offensively, I think last year for Texas, we saw a glimpse of what it's capable of in this game. Like, he started the game. I know it was very short-lived, but he got off to a great start before getting hurt. I think that he's going to hit on at least one deep ball here in this game that he didn't against Rice. Yeah, I mean, they're not going to torch Bama, but I think because of Bama running the ball and relying on their defense a little bit more than previous years, I think it'll just be a lower scoring game. I mean, last year was pretty low scoring, so I feel like seven
Yeah,
and
it
a half
was.
points is pretty valuable.
The half point is valuable. If it was just if I was thinking it was just 7, but so I did take Bama. I don't know. I mean, obviously, week 1 maybe it's influencing my opinion a little too much, but I don't know. I like what I saw from Alabama. I like the way maybe it will be a benefit to them, kind of going back to simplifying what they're doing. They were getting a little pass heavy in years past. So get back to the old Nick Saban of old, ground and pound, play really good defense, and just smother teams. Which I think Texas's offensive line, like you were saying, on the interior is a little vulnerable. So I do think Alabama is going to make it hard on them to run it or pass. So I think Ewers is going to not have a ton of time, and maybe cause some havoc, maybe some turnovers, and Bama will kind of capitalize on that. And Texas probably will do a decent job against Alabama's offense, but I just don't think Alabama is going to be the team that makes the mistakes in this one. I think Texas is going to be more vulnerable to that. So I think that could kind of be the difference maker. So I'm taking Bama.
Okay. All right. Well, that'll do it for this episode of the College Football Bros. Let us know your thoughts on the game in the comments below. And again, subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/collegefootballbros. We'd really appreciate your support there. And we'll see you next time.